Well, welcome to today's rant. And of course, today is the day before the big election. The I know I'm hearing just about everybody in both parties, every side, saying this is the most important election of our lifetime. Now, I started saying that, I think it's back in 2008, may have been before then, but it's been over a decade. I told you every election was going to be the most important election of our lifetime, including the midterms. And I think I've been right. I think it's going to continue to be that way. Now, I get asked a lot what's going on, what I think's going to happen. I do inquire the Lord of that, but I quit asking him who's going to win, what's going to happen. And I ask him, what do we need to do to be aligned with him, working according to his purposes? What is his will? One thing I believe very definitely, it's get out and vote. And if I tell you, it is becoming so crucial, so critical. And the encouraging thing is, it seems like everybody's hearing it. We have some states who are registering, they actually have record voter turnout, and election day hadn't even come yet, just in the pre-voting. It's incredible that what's going on. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I do believe that the Republicans are going to hold. I believe it's going to be a fairly good night for them. Not as maybe, anyway, I'm just saying, and I'm not prophesying, I'm just a sense of things, because the Lord isn't showing me who wins anymore. He has done that a couple of times, showing me who was going to win, but I would be hesitant to say anyway, because so many people, they feel like, well, if there's a sure word out there that so-and-so is going to win, they won't go out to vote for them, so they do win. I'm just saying. But I just heard an excellent video, excellent message a friend of mine sent from Michigan of a Trevor Loudon, a Kiwi from New Zealand, had an amazing message about these elections. And he laid out pretty clearly what was at stake. And I do believe virtually our way of life, I believe our Constitution is at stake in this election. Now, I'm not saying if it goes one way or the other, the Constitution's through. I'm just saying it's going to be an even worse crisis if it goes one way. And if it goes the other way, it is still in crisis, but the trajectory is still to recover our constitutional republic. Now, I know a lot of people that after their guy got in 2016, they just said, man, they started relaxing, and that's been typical, both parties. But as this man, Trevor Loudon, shared, which I thought was a great metaphor for what's going on, 2016 was but the first game of the World Series. It was like, and Bob Jones used to call that the World Series. He got many prophetic revelations about the World Series, including did pick the winner a couple of times when it was about a major message for our country. And but this is so serious. I believe these 2018 elections are just like game 2. The 2020 will be like game 3. We're a long ways from home, a long ways from winning the way we need to win to strengthen and restore our constitutional moorings in our republic. Yeah, I do believe it is that serious. I think if the there is a continuation of Republican, holding the Republicans holding the House, holding the Senate. I think it is opportunity, but still we have had such weak Republican leadership that they passed this unbelievable omnibus bill. They still have not defunded Planned Parenthood. It's still being supported by your tax dollars, things like that. And I'm just praying if they hold the Congress that a leadership will emerge that will do what they've been promising those who voted for them for a long time now, over 10 years now. They will actually do what they promised the people that they would do in those and many other areas. But one of the things that, if you, watch sports much, there's a lot of near upsets and of a team that just is nobody picks to win, but they come so close to winning and usually just cave in right at the end because they do not finish strong. And I think that's happened with a lot of political movements, a lot of other movements. We get going strong, but we do not finish the job. My prayer is that there's obviously a record-setting turnout for tomorrow's election, but that those who have been awakened to the desperation of the times and what is at stake for our country, if they show up tomorrow, is the quote I read to you the last time out there, the future belongs to those who show up. And if we don't do it, woe is us, and we won't be able to complain about what the consequences are that we suffer. We've got to show up for these elections. Now, I don't think there's any way that the Democrats, even if they take the House, that they're going to be able, they can impeach the president. Impeach just means to accuse. And, Clinton got accused, but he didn't get thrown out of office because there were not enough votes in the Senate to do that. And that will never happen to Trump. He'll never be thrown out of office. They can impeach him all they want. Doesn't mean he's going to leave office. But there can be such a logjam. But even worse than that, the funding of things that are contrary to our way of life is going on in our Congress right now. These things have got to be stopped. The funding of organizations, the funding of those who are enemies of our country, who are being supported by government dollars. We'll get into this more in the future, but that kind of thing has to stop. But we've got to have leadership. We've got to have, if the Republicans hold the House, which I do believe that the Republicans are the most aligned with biblical Christianity, the biblical faith. I'm praying for them to hold the line tomorrow. And not only that, but to take some seats. But then we've got to get the work done. We've got to get the job done. We can't let off because we've won an election or two. We've got to see our republic restored to its constitutional moorings. And that's going to mean the dealing and the overthrowing of a lot of tyranny that has been placed upon the yokes of been yoking the citizens of this country, and that are unconstitutional, must be faced, must be addressed. And then we've got to quit supporting organizations that hate us and are trying to overthrow our country. This is bizarre, but it's going on in a big time way. And if we're going to do anything about it and it not become a violent, or I should say more violent, confrontation of these forces, we got to get out there tomorrow and we need to win. So I'm praying for victory. I'm praying for a Republican victory, that it's solid enough that the other side starts to wake up and say, this craziness that these crazy extremes that the Democratic Party has gone to, that is anti-American, un-American in many ways, and in many profound ways, it's time to end. And it's time to take another look at what made America great and what will keep it great in the future. Thank you for joining today's rant.